Good morning. I'm Greg Watson, and this is Rec to Rental. The birds are singing. The sun is out. Sky is blue. What a blessed day. Thank you, Lord. And always, a heavenly hello to my beautiful wife. Today, the jungle's going to go away. Although I love bushes, I love flowers, I especially love trees. As I have mentioned, renters are not going to take care of it. Therefore, we want to clear as much out as possible, leave some beautiful trees, and if they wanted to plant a few items, then they'll take care of them. So today we have landscapers coming to remove the jungle and clear everything out, so it'll be like a park atmosphere. Trees with the limbs up high, grass growing below it. So also we're going to be continuing framing and cutting out the concrete in the basement. So hope you share some time with us. Looking forward to it. Bush by bush, it's all coming out. It's going to start to look like a nice open field, and the fence is coming down as well. Then after everything's clear, then we will put in a new fence. So sprucing everything up, one thing at a time. A well-tended garden is easy to maintain. But once it gets out of control, the only thing one can do is simply chop it up, get rid of it, and especially when it comes to bamboo. It is an invasive species that, if not contained, will go crazy. So in the background, we have the sound of the concrete saw cutting grooves in the basement cement. We also have the sound of a hammer, which you can sort of hear over the concrete saw, creating the framing for the shower in the master bathroom. And up here, they have been loading the dump trailers with all of the foliage that is, I'd like to say, magically disappearing, but with a lot of hard work and sweat. Great job, guys. Well, my goodness, things have changed. The rotted fence is gone. Almost all the plants are gone. Now it's just all about cleaning it up, making it nice, to put down some grass seed for it to grow. So then a tenant, all they have to do is mow the lawn and rake some leaves. Very simple. And if they wanted to plant some special plants for them, they will then take care of them because they planted them. We continue to do framing inside for bathrooms, and we're going to start framing upstairs for a new bedroom entrance and the framing for the bathroom. So we'll get to that a little bit later. Hope you'll join me. God bless. Looks like the toilet was rather boxed in, and that's true. This is the framing for the new master bathroom shower. The toilet will eventually turn and face outwards, but for right now, it's functional and we can use it. And once we get to the point where we need to adjust it or remove it for putting a tile down, then I'll bring a porta potty to the site. So we make do with what we have. I'm down here in the basement and the cutting continues. I think I will rent a larger cutter since there's such a distance to go. But one of those unexpected things, the dust from the concrete has continuously clogged the sump pump because we use water in the machines to cool the blade. So that's just something that we deal with and unexpected, but it's nothing that will slow us down. Just a challenge to figure out. We have a moment of temporary quiet as they're changing the blades on the concrete saw in the basement. Behind me, we have Rick struggling to strip out the linoleum floor, which has been there probably for 60 some years. We have to remove it so that we can put a base for the tile that's going down in the kitchen. Things are moving right along. It's Saturday and we're working. We have a fencing crew here because we love what we do. Yes, we have to have some downtime, but when you're creating, when the juices are flowing, you got to keep on moving. Of course, we thank God for this beautiful day. We've had some rain, so that means I don't have to water the grass. Yay! And of course, heavenly hello to my beautiful wife. So, fencing 101. Posts, 8 foot, pressure treated. They go down on the ground, 18 to 24 inches, and each one gets a bag and a half of cement. A bag is about 60 pounds. So 80 pounds, we stick with 60s because we get tired after a while. Also, pressure treated boards. Now this fence, this portion of it is already here. The neighbors built it. It's fine, nothing really wrong with it. But for me, for the long term, I prefer board on the bottom, board in the middle, and a horizontal board at the top. The middle board keeps pickets from warping because over time they will. Pickets that we put up are cedar, last a lot longer, and even though in the end we're going to put a nice stain on to again keep and preserve, it's the little things that will make your investment last a lot longer. It's a couple more dollars for another board, a few more minutes, but in the end it's really worth it. Trust me. So hope you're having a great Saturday. We're gonna rock and roll and build a fence. God bless. We have a beautiful fence. The only place we didn't finish it was near the alley. We'll do that one after the garage is built. And you can see that we have 2 nails, 2 nails, and 2 nails. I like having that center horizontal board because over time it prevents the boards from warping. When you only have them at the top and at the bottom, after a while, the boards will start separating and just doesn't look right. So I'm very pleased with this. And so we just continue moving forward. Behind me, we've got Rick, who is staining the new cedar fence using a simple hand pump sprayer. Now you can use an airless, but if you don't have one, this is a good way to keep the stain on the wood. Whereas when you use an airless, it tends to blow a lot of the stain out into the air, and so you don't get as much coverage. This way, it really soaks into the cedar and makes a beautiful dark finish. Now, this is actually called pecan, and it's a real beautiful luster when it's finished. A beautiful fence on a beautiful day. 2 great blessings from God. As you can see, the pecan stain is soaked in very well. First time you stain, it's going to take a whole lot more because the wood is raw and it's thirsty, so it will suck it all in. So you'll use a lot more stain the very first time. I recommend between 3 and 4 years to restain again, but again, it depends upon your weather. The best way to preserve your fence is to keep it well nourished, which is staining it. And of course, the results are gorgeous and all the neighbors appreciate it. One other thing we did is toward the end where the neighbor's fence connects to ours, I asked if he would allow us to stain his side, and he was very happy about that because it left him with 1 less wall to stain on his own. So it's always good to be a good neighbor. Behind me, you see the remnants of the digging out the trenches in the basement. I'll show you the results a little bit later. Not quite finished. Lots of rocks, which make it difficult for digging. We also have blocks and bricks stacked high. Those all came from the backyard, which were used as planters. Previous owners of the home liked lots of planters, but it makes it difficult to keep the landscaping up to date, meaning smooth, even, nice grass, a few trees. So we moved everything out here, and eventually it will be hauled away. This is a stump grinder. We use it to get rid of stumps after we have taken down trees or large bushes. Again, I like everything nice and smooth, easy to mow, and so when we have stumps sticking up, it's hard to do so. And if they're low to the ground, which a number of them are in the backyard, you can run over it and it can damage your blades. So this is a fun tool. I remember the first time I used one years ago, I couldn't get it to go because the safety device, which I was unaware of, is you have to hold the handle and somehow that connects to the machine and then it'll run. So we have safety glasses, which they do come very stylish, and we have ear protection. So little by little, we chip away at it. I like to get it down 4 or 5 inches below the ground. That way you can cover it up with sod and seed it, and you have a beautiful lawn. You don't have to worry about running over anything with your lawnmower. So now we have a nice hole where the stump was. We can smooth it over, and when it's time, plant grass. Only 10 more to go. It's going to be a good day. Nothing like fresh summer strawberries. Next time, I'm going to have to put a little bit of whipped cream milk. So an update on paperwork, procedures, all the mundane stuff that always gets in the way of progress. So remember, we had Blaine Edwards out here to do a survey on the garage before we demo it. He didn't think there was going to be any asbestos, so that's the way he wrote up the report. I had to submit that to the Clean Air Agency here in Washington State, and it's usually just pretty perfunctory. They stamp it, send it back to me, and then I can supply that to the permit office to get the permit to demo. Well, it doesn't always go as planned, and that's why you take a deep breath. I received a call from the Clean Air Act saying, what about the shingles? Well, the shingles have been up there for probably 40 years, so they were concerned that there might be asbestos in it. All shingles have some asbestos, but it's usually at a level that's below what would be hazardous, and it's also closed cell, meaning if you break it, that it doesn't fly out into the air, so it's not dangerous. But anyway, they wanted a sample to be sent to the lab to check just to make sure. So Blaine came back out, took a sample of the shingles, and we sent it off to the lab. Then I got the report back, which of course said no asbestos, which we were not surprised. So then I had to send that back to the Clean Air Agency. They reviewed it, all good. They sent me a go-ahead letter. Blaine provided his updated letter. I submitted both of those to the permitting development department here in town, and very quickly they stamped it, gave me the permit to demo, and of course they gave me a bill because everything costs all the time. Next, the beams. So I finally got the new engineering report back from Exodus Engineering. Great group of guys, very helpful. Because again, I don't usually work with metal, so some of their technical jargon is a little beyond me, but they're always here to hold my hand. So the plans do call for more footings in the basement. Thankfully, where the new footings are, the trenches that we've been digging, they're not going to conflict. That's good. But of course, having more posts and more metal beams, more money. So we always account for overages in our budgets. Also, where that beam is, that will be replaced with a glue lam. And a glue lam is usually 2x6 boards glued together. And so this is about a 17-foot span. So it's going to be about 12 inches deep. They're pretty because it's just usually pine, and therefore we can pretty it up by staining it the same color as the floor, or if it doesn't look nice, then we can sheetrock it, paint it the same color as the rest of the ceiling, and it just disappears. Have to do the same thing for the back bedroom next to the master bathroom. Only problem there is the post is right where the door is going to be. So we have to squeeze the door over, and possibly the cabinet, the vanity, which is going to be right next to the door, may have to be a less depth. So we'll see how it all works out, and I hope you come along to watch us do this stuff. Thank you so much. A short note of clarification on the previous video. I said that the 2x6s for the glue lam are pine. Most of the time, studs, glue lams, posts, etc. are made of 3 different species. One can be pine, one can be spruce, and one can be Douglas fir. In our area, we mostly harvest Douglas fir, And that is what generally we will receive. It's nice looking wood, and as I said before, if it does have nice grainage, we can stain it the same color as the floor, give the ceiling a little bit of accent. So I wanted to mention that because there's oftentimes people who like to correct when a person misspeaks. But on that note, if you ever see something that we could be doing different, we can be doing better, a tool, a product, I'm always got my ears open because you can't know everything. And there is such a wealth of knowledge out in the world. And anybody who would like to contribute, I would be very grateful. Thank you so much. God bless.